Yeah, so I was talking about Craig Armstrong and suddenly it stopped. So Craig is also a very good composer. Uh, till what I have discussed, I think Harry Gregson Williams I talked about, Justin Hurwitz I was discussing. After that, when I mentioned Craig Armstrong and a few of his films, then suddenly it went away. But we cannot stop good music from listening. We cannot stop people from listening to good music. So we have to do this no matter what happens. Music is very important, স্পেশালি যখন একজন ইয়াং কেউ মিউজিক একটা ইন্ডাস্ট্রি বা মিউজিক একটা প্রফেশন পারসিউ করতে চাইছে, তাকে সবসময় বাইরে যেতে হবে কেন? এখানে আমরা কেন এনভায়রনমেন্টটা তৈরি করতে পারি না? উই শুড মেক অ্যান এনভায়রনমেন্ট where they can thrive, their ideas can thrive. So why do they have to go outside? Um, we can create an environment where they can thrive, their ideas can thrive. So that's why you have to understand the problem really well. হচ্ছে কি, হয়তো এই লোকজনদের সাথে এই লোকজন যদি কাছে আসে, একটা রিলেশনশিপ যদি ফর্ম করে, দেন ইটস বেনিফিশিয়াল নট অনলি ফর দ্যাট রিলেশনশিপ বাট অলসো ফর দ্য ফ্রেটার্নিটি, আর্ট যদি আমি বলি, সিনেমা বলি, ক্রিয়েটার আর্ট যদি বলি, বাট একটা থাকে না ব্লিসফুল একটা ব্যাপার, খুব সোলফুল রিলেশনশিপ যেটা হতে পারে, সেটার জন্য খুব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। তার মাঝখানে ব্যারিয়ারটা কি? এবার আমার কাছে হয়তো ম্যাটার করছে না, কারো অন্য কাছে হয়তো ম্যাটার করছে না, বিকজ উই ক্যান কমিউনিকেট বিয়ন্ড দ্য ওয়ার্ডস, উই ক্যান লুক এট সামওয়ান অ্যান্ড উই নো হু ক্যান বি পার্ট অফ আওয়ার ফ্যামিলি অর ফ্রেন্ড সার্কেল, উই নো দ্যাট। But there will be always few people in India, because of invasions and other things যেটা হয়েছে, ইসলামিক ইনভেশনস করার জন্য বিশেষ করে যে আমাদের কালচারটা তৈরি হয়েছে, and I have to mention that because মিউজিক ইন্ডিয়ার একটা ইন্টিগ্রাল পার্ট ছিল, এবং অন্য যে কোনো কালচার আমি দেখি যারা সাকসেস করেছে সেখানে মিউজিক একটা খুব ইন্টিগ্রাল পার্ট ছিল। এবার ইন্ডিয়াতে এমন একটা সিচুয়েশন হয়েছে, কিছু পার্টিকুলার পিপল, সবাই না, আমি বলছি না কিন্তু এভরিওয়ান ইজ ব্যাড, ফিউ পিপল যারা কি করছে, দে আর দ্য ব্যারিয়ার্স বিটুইন দিজ রিলেশনশিপস। এবার ওয়াই ডোন্ট উই গেট দেম? Why don't we understand the problem? Because they are camouflaging or they are hiding it behind something. If they want to go to a satsang, they want to destroy the satsang, but they will promote the satsang, they will talk about the satsang, but eventually somewhere in the back they are actually destroying the satsang or the essence of satsang. Why we bring people together, good people together, you know, being in that great company, we can share ideas, we can share great stuff. So they don't like that. That is haram for them, that is really bad for them. They cannot do that themselves. Whatever they do, that's just to show off, to show people, to make a point in the public. Otherwise they don't value that in their own lives. So what they do is they find a lot of ways so that they can go through the ways and disturb things. Maybe somebody is working for a movie, composing music, and that person is facing some problems. He or she doesn't even know that the reason for the problems is his or her own so-called friend. So these are the things that have been happening for a long time, and I was silent. I was just watching that. I didn't feel the need to talk about it because I had my own integrity. I was doing my own stuff. I didn't feel the need to talk about it. But now things are happening in such a way. If we don't talk about it, then the youth will suffer. Some person is going to be a singer, some person is going to be an artist, some person is going to be a musician or a composer, whatever it is from the artistic background. We have to create an environment for them also so that they can thrive, their ideas can thrive, something greater can thrive. That's how we create great stories. That's why we create great stories. The odds will be there, the problems will be there, but how we recognize that and go beyond them, go beyond it. But if you don't understand them, if you try to ignore them in a different way, you have to ignore them, because if you give them more attention, they get the power. If you give them love, trust and respect, they get the power, and they take that power from you. When you give something good to them in terms of emotion, in terms of a gift, whatever it is, they take the power from that and they misuse that power. eventually they take you for granted, directly or indirectly. Maybe they are doing it themselves, or maybe they are provoking someone behind the back, but they, when they are coming in front of you, they are putting a face in front of you, but at the back they are the reason for all the troubles, because they are giving the bad ideas, the vices they are provoking, they are amplifying the vices in other people, and just being in their company can do so much harm. So the first thing is to recognize the problem. Then we can figure out a lot of solutions together. But if I ignored the problem, if you ignored the problem, if somebody else is ignoring the problem, tomorrow there will be someone who will be facing the same thing, and there will be no one to help that person, because we didn't delve deep into the problem. We tried to uh, go to a denial state. We tried to go to a state where we thought that our personal gratification was really important, and we could compromise um, the mass. We could compromise the taste of the country, the taste of the culture. So that is very important. The cultural character we might have compromised, but whatever we did, we have to be responsible for the next generation and the youth. And I have to mention, because there is a flow of things when you do it naturally, genuinely. There is a flow of things, and these people, I have seen it for a long time, and I have done intense research regarding that. They are after that flow. Whenever there is a movie happening that is creating a world, and that movie can transport you to some place, or that diegetic world, or that fantasy world, whatever it is, these are the people who are trying to break it. Suppose you take a musical performance. You can take a Broadway musical. You can take a musical performance. If you break the flow, you lose something, right? So you have to continue that flow. You have to enjoy the entire concert, or you have to enjoy the entire performance without interruption, without disruption. That's how that's why when I was running many film clubs, I didn't allow mobile phones, because those used to be so uh, those mobile phones used to be a great source of distraction, if I say so. So people, suddenly it rang up, and it disturbed a lot. If you are watching a serious movie, if you are watching a direct, like a dramatic movie, and it could take you out of the storytelling process. And these are the people who are responsible for that, because they are giving those things in the mass. Whenever they are talking behind your back, they are provoking other people to do so. But only problem is that when they're coming in front of you, you trust them. I have done that. I have learned from my mistakes. You respect them. I have learned from those mistakes. But if you continue to do that, somebody else will suffer. And if you see someone else suffering, you will suffer also. And your suffering, that person's suffering, the collective suffering, they will enjoy that, because they are thriving on that. That's what they want. The mass is suffering because they are giving the content to the mass. The mass is suffering, they are enjoying that. An artist is suffering, two or more artists are suffering, and they are enjoying it. But you don't find the problem, you don't find the source of the problem, because they are hiding behind a mask. They're trying to be friends, they're trying to be family, they're provoking you, they're trying to take you to a different direction. Eventually you are losing your time, you're losing your momentum, but gradually you're figuring out something was wrong, but you don't even know what was the main reason. So somebody has to do that thing. The more people do it, the better it is. But recognize these people, because they are the biggest obstacles for doing great work in this country. Otherwise, by this time, we would have made great movies, we would have told great stories, we would have had great Broadway musical performance. Hardly you can count the performance we have got in the last few years. Beauty and the Beast, you have got Aladdin, and I don't remember anymore. But great talent. I have talked to some of the directors, or few of the directors. They are great talents, but they are not getting an environment where they can thrive. And at some place where they are having that zeal, they are having that curiosity, but the economy is suffering, and they are also responsible for that. So either way, they are destroying the cultures, so that somehow the great things cannot happen. right? So you really have to address the issue now. And now I will quickly wrap it up today. Craig is a very important composer because to me, when I have listened to some of his pieces, uh, I really enjoyed it. Especially, he worked with Thomas Winterberg, and that was a beautiful score. Where is it? Yeah, Elizabeth, I just mentioned, epic scale dramatic score. And I don't want to put it into molds, but far from the madding crowd, this is a really good score. And uh, the song, the way, I think it was their idea. Thomas is a very good director and he has a very good sense of music. So when they were using the song, they didn't use many instruments to clutter it, so the song came out of clarity and it had a very good dramatic impact. So Love Actually, I don't remember the score much, but there are few things I remember. It was a good movie, a rom-com, so a romantic movie, and different stories coming together. But Elizabeth had a good score, and Far From the Madding Crowd had a good score. And there are a few other movies, Ray Charles, I just mentioned, that was a beautiful score because the way he used the score, it was a beautiful score. I liked it a lot. So, anyways, orchestral music, if you see, especially if you look at Elizabeth, a piece like Elizabeth, or a few other pieces also, his work, you will see the orchestral music with a dramatic content, or a great dramatic feel, to do justice to the story. So that is very important because we need people like that. And Michael Dana and Craig Armstrong, these two people worked with Rahman, so they had a very good collaboration also. So if you are listening to their pieces, you will find Rahman there, and individually or in collaboration, they did great work. So that sensitivity, cultural communication, cross-cultural communication, that is there. And Stephen Price, I think I will mention Stephen Price a bit because often people don't talk about it. Gravity, I mentioned Gravity. But I think Lorne I wanted to mention before that. So just let me mention Lorne and then I will go to Stephen Price. Lorne. The recent work, Top Gun Maverick, and Genius is a very good composition. Like, he worked really great in Genius, both in the Einstein season one, and the season one was about Einstein. He worked really well, and then season two was about Picasso. He did a great job in that also. Black Adam, okay. Mission Impossible Fallout, it was a very good score. These are the movies he has been working on. So contemporary music, good music. Hans Zimmer, he worked with Hans Zimmer because when they were working in the National Geographic Genius TV series, Hans composed the main theme. And if you look at Top Gun Maverick also, Hans has an impact. But Lorne did a really good job. And he was a veteran in Hans Zimmer's remote control productions. So, and the Lego Batman movie, 2017, it came out. That blue Batman, purple Batman, So, a Lego Batman movie, that was really good. So, and after Lorne, we will go to, and you should recognize the face of the composer. That is also very important because suddenly you might come across an interview, কোথাও একটা interview হচ্ছে ইউটিউবে দেখলাম বা কোথাও একটা হলো. So recognizing the face and the name of the composer, that is very important. That is also paying respect to your colleague and professional. But unfortunately, the mass in India has been shaped by few people where we don't respect if you show a different kind of masculinity in a very bad way. That is, you know, that is considered as something of heroism. But once in a while, that can do the work. But if you do that continuously, it becomes very boring. So you need to respect other people, irrespective of age, race, gender, and especially when you are into art, that respect, that gratitude, that sense of camaraderie, all these things matter. You know, because that's a part of your creation process. So if you don't do that, then you are not fit for this industry. That's in a very simple way I can put it. Stephen Price, when I mentioned Stephen Price, it was about Gravity because he really did a good job. Alfonso Cuaron is the director. Chivo's great cinematography, Chivo Lubeski, he did a great job and very minimalistic score. He's a young guy, works with piano, keyboards, and guitar. British film composer again, and Gravity is one of his best scores. The Last Night in Soho, that is also a good score. My Last Night in Soho is a good score. Gravity is a good score. Over the Moon is there. So Our Planet live in concert he has done. Then Beast he has done. Fury is thing. Fury is one thing, but Our Planet again. So this planet consciousness. So when you walk with that, work in that environment or with those kind of people, and it should come very naturally to you, when Hans is working on planet Earth, then Lorne is working on something else, then Stephen Price is working on Our Planet. So subconsciously there is a feeling, or there is a consideration, there is a respect for your nature. You are thinking about nature in a very positive way, and when you are working, you are putting that into practice. So that is what you should do. Otherwise, if I can use one word for it, that is called congruence. If you don't believe in Mother Nature, if you don't feel about Mother Nature, if you don't care for Mother Nature, but you just have to talk about it because you have to build a brand around it, and you are doing it in a very superficial manner, but it doesn't reflect in your work, when you are actually doing an act of creation. So when you are giving yourself a lot into that musical composition, or you are making a movie, if you are not putting that in that artistic process, or even if you are putting that in your artistic process, but there is no art in it, there is nothing genuine about it, so people will feel that. Maybe the you know people who are dealing with mediocrity day by day, they are not getting it. But people who are very well acquainted with different kinds of arts, they have a great taste, they have a great sense of aesthetics, they have developed a great philosophy, they will get it. You cannot fool everyone. If you think you can fool everyone, then you are fooling yourself. So that's a great mistake you can do in life, but some people don't learn from their mistakes, so they will continue to do that stuff. We just have to recognize who is doing the mistake again and again, and what are the mistakes he or she is doing. If that is affecting a lot of people in the creative industry, then we need to talk about it. So that is very important. So Stephen Price is a wonderful composer you can look up to. But what I want to say is, there is a mindset. I will just wrap it up. I think I mentioned quite few composers. Let me see. Before that, let me talk about few things, and then I can just wrap it up. So it's about the mindset. Now, when we talk about the mindset, what we mean by that mindset, if you have understood it, then you have worked a lot on the filmmaking, like filmmaking industry. You have gathered some experience, because when we communicate beyond words regarding these aspects, that means you have worked in the industry for a long time. Not in terms of duration, but in terms of the developing your professionalism, developing your aesthetics, developing your communication skills, whatever be the scenario. So the thing is, if you really believe it, it is shown, it is seen in the work. If you don't, it is also seen in the work. And cinema is gives you an opportunity where it gets amplified. Whether it's superficial acting with the use of a camera, it gets amplified. With the use of technology, when you are composing something, if you are not genuine enough, it gets reflected in your work. So that is very important. And I was going to mention something else, I just forgot it. But oh, the mindset, Stephen Price or people like that. So if you are conditioned to a number mindset, for example, if you are uh, looking forward to have a composer in your movie, There are many ways to go about it. You can go by the brand name. You are associating yourself with the brand. You think you are doing a great thing. Then you can look at his number of works, number of you can look at his or her discography, how many projects he has worked on. There is another thing: when you are trusting that composer, you are recognizing the potential of the composer, and you know that the composer is fit for the story you are telling. That's a great way to go about things, because that's how we give a helping hand professionally to the next generation, to young talents, to potential talents. Now, for example, people like Stephen Price or other people, that person has worked on only 6 or 5 compositions. If that can be your mindset, then you won't be having great talents around you. Now you know that person has a brand, he has got worldwide recognition, he has worked on a lot of movies. Now, if I associate my brand with that person, I will get something done. That is one way, in a very shallow way. Otherwise, people like, suppose you're looking at a composer and that composer has composed 6 7 movies, but there is one movie when you are listening to that composition, or maybe 1 or 2 movies, when you are listening to that composition you can smell greatness. So you are listening to that composition and you know what the person can do. Maybe that person was not given enough opportunity to showcase his or her work. If you give them a chance, maybe with a collaboration, maybe individually, that person can come up with really something great. That's how you mentor, that's how you lead, that's how you direct a crew, a cast, a new actor. But you believe in that actor, you believe in his or her potential, you give him or her a chance. You know that person is right for that movie. Al Pacino was selected in that way, many other people were selected in that way. Hollywood had that. Apart from the that glamour world only, there are many stories. It shows what kind of person you are. No matter how much you talk about things, superficial stuff, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, when it comes to the work, it is seen. The way you talk, the way you create, it is seen. In 1 hour, you can create a phony speech and you can talk about things, but you can do that in the long run, because ultimately your mask will fall off, right? You think that you can take people away from the great relations. Eventually they will get it, they won't even tell you that they are getting it. What an insult it is. You don't even understand that that is an insult. Those kind of people, I got to know a few of these people in the last few years, and I still trust it, I still respect it as a human being, but they don't deserve that also. Because at one point of time I stopped talking to people who were not artistic enough, and these people are lower than the average cinephiles. And when they are affecting the mass, they are generating a mass who is conditioned in that way. And when you are coming up with great stuff, they will tell the mass in different ways, directly or indirectly, so that the mass will reject your stuff. So the youth won't get the right stuff, they won't be developing the right stuff. Whoever wants to do great stuff, they will go out, or they will get frustrated, depressed, and that is what they enjoy. The same thing is happening. I have been talking about all these things for a long time, I think, but I will end this year. I will end these things, or talking about these things, this year only, because I tried a lot of things and I have got my answers. I don't need to continue that. But relationships. Sometimes working in a movie, we build great relationships that last for a lifetime, right? And all those things, I don't have to mention explicitly. The moment you are doing it, that means you are losing something. That means your education is not right. That means your personality is not right. That means your attitude is not right. Whenever you're looking at a brand who has got a brand, you are just becoming, you're trying to persuade, you're trying to manipulate so that you associate your brand with that person. But if you really, so sometimes I look at, somebody showed me a contest where one person is coming up with a so-called friend, and that person was, somebody showed it to me, and that person was trying to show it to me that he has associated with that person. But I didn't believe it. I just ignored it because I know that person is genuine, and he really works hard, and he has reached that place with a lot of hard work. But these people and people who were around this person, they tried to criticize that person in a very bad way, in the worst ways possible. But I still didn't believe that, and I won't believe that, because I know what someone is, or what someone can be. But with these cheap tricks, you cannot do great stuff. চালাকির দ্বারা কোনোদিন মহৎ কাজ হয় না, there is a saying. So that's how we are talking. When we talk about Hok Aloron, Candid Music Adda, we are talking about great stuff. So it doesn't happen suddenly in one day. you know it's a mindset you cultivate over time. You fail, you learn from your failures. You fail forward, you learn from your mistakes. You try to do different stuff. Even if you fail, you learn. Even if you succeed, you learn. You learn from the interactions without judgment. You learn from the people. You learn from life. You can learn from many things in life. So when you do all these things, you develop a sense of artistry. You are going through conflict. When you are writing yourself, you can put those conflicts into your writing. When you are reading some stuff, actually reading, not talking about you have read this author, you have read this title. I'm not going to that shit. Actually, when you are reading, you are understanding the characters, you are understanding the narrative, you are understanding the arc, emotional arc, character arc, whatever be the scenario. You relate to those conflicts, because if you have gone through those conflicts, you can really relate to it, whether you write it yourself or you read someone else's work. But if you talk about, I have read this person, I have read this title, because that title is a very famous title. When you mention that title with a smile, people think you have already known it. And out of respect, they believe in you that you have actually read it. But you don't even know how to read a script. And you talk about producing. I'm talking about few people who think they are very smart, and they expect people to pitch to them when they don't understand a bit of cinema. So that is why you cannot respect talent. Maybe you are trying to associate yourself with a brand, and you are doing a contest where you are welcoming new talents. That's so superficial, man or woman, whatever it is. So you should not do that. Or even if you do, you should not market it in a very superficial way. Or if you market that in a superficial way, you should not show that to the real people who can get your superficiality, no matter how much you try to sell. Because we know what acting looks like, great acting. We know what stupid acting looks like, and we know the entire range. So you are fooling yourself. These people, I'm talking to these people. If you want to learn something, come to Hok Aloron, come to Candid Music Adda, come to Candid Art Adda, come to Lekha Lekhi, or many other things we are sharing with people. Now, if you come with that mindset, since we are sharing it for free, it doesn't have a value. That is also showing that mindset only. You cannot recognize the potential. You cannot go for the new talent. You cannot go for a new story. Ultimately, you get it, right? You don't understand all these things. You don't understand cinema yet. So think beyond all these things if you really want to create great work, because then you can give a lot of opportunities really to new talents, people with potential, and people will respect you for that. The real people will respect you for that. And yeah, I mean, what else we can do? We have gone through a path. We can share the experience. We can teach. We can mentor people. We can share our struggles so that they don't have to go through the same struggles. We can talk about the wisdom we have got along the way. We are still seeking. We are still learning, but we can still share. That person can share something with us. But ultimately, we have to tell great stories. Now, great stories can be converted to great movies. What do we need? A great crew. And when you have this kind of mindset, the crew is mediocre by itself. So you cannot make a great movie like that with that existing mindset. So Go out of the professional scenario, I mean the so-called professional scenario. Look for people with potential. If they got a knack in photography, cinematography, take them in your team. If you have a limited budget, take them in your team. If one person is composing in a really great way, in a very genuine manner, that person is composing a great song, take them in your team. If that person has a great talent for acting, but he or she hasn't acted in any one of the movies, but you can recognize the talent, you believe in yourself, you are believing in that talent, you are believing in your story, because your story, your direction will do the work. That person can just trust, that person can just believe, you yourself will do the work. That's how leadership is all about. That's what leadership is all about. That's how we make great movies. Do these things. No matter how small a movie you make, that will show your genuine attitude towards filmmaking, towards yourself, towards the craft and the art of filmmaking, or art in general. You can get a phony degree in arts and culture, but when you talk to people regarding that, the right people will always get it. So, by saying that, I will finish Candid Music at the season 2 today, and very soon we are going to start Candid Art Adda, and we will talk about a lot of great stuff and what are the barriers in the art industry or the entertainment industry. When you really want to create great art, what are the problems you can face and how to overcome those things. We will talk about those things. But Candid Music Adda season 2, we end it here today. But this is not an end, because I make a promise: season 3 will be coming soon. Maybe after a few months, but it will come. And it will be bigger, stronger, and better. Thank you so much.